Well, what a morning it is. It's a very, very, very good morning because, Sam, welcome back to the studio. Sam's with us today.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be back.
How you doing, Sam? You alright?
I'm doing alright, yeah. How was it up Christmas, Ben? I haven't spoken to you since Christmas, really.
Yeah, it was very, very nice, thank you. You know, I would say that I was a very good boy and didn't have lots of booze, but... well,
you can't lie. You can't.
Yeah, as the listeners are very well aware, we never lie on air, do we? So
Never.
This is it's a bit like being connected like some kind of truth machine, like all wired up.
Yeah.
So if we do lie, you just hear this. So I don't know why this bell's here, but we'll use that.
We've discovered a bell, and I think Ben's going to use it at every opportunity.
Yeah, we most certainly will use it. Right, well, I mean, what we got for you today? Well, very exciting show. Oh, very exciting show. What a way to kick off your Thursday. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. Very, very glad that you could join us. First up, now, okay, these are probably my favourite people from Birmingham of all time. We've got UB40! Woo! Yes, exciting. UB40, to start with, chatting about their new music video for Comeback Darling that they made. They also gave us some exclusive insights into their new album. Coming out soon.
Exclusivity.
Exclusive, yeah, exactly. This is what you get here on The Source, isn't it? Right, then after that, I mean, if that wasn't enough already, we've got this absolute fantastic chap, Yanni Shawalambas. Now, Yanni, you haven't heard of him, he runs this company called Yanimize, and essentially it's this car customization company, and he has let me just tell you this, he's got a serious list of clients, okay, lots of superstars. Actually, he's going to give us some insights into what the 1D boys, Harry Styles features in this story, so you're going to like this a lot, Sam. What the 1D boys chose for their tour bus and how they had it customized. It is sweet. You're not going to be disappointed at all. You can think, yep, I knew it. I just knew the boys would do this.
How the other half live.
Yeah, exactly. So he'll be chatting to us in a minute about his brand new TV show, actually, that's actually just dropped yesterday, but you can still get it on Catch Up if you wanted to. It's also getting a number of repeats anyway across lots of channels. But check out dave.uk TV for that. We'll talk more about that a bit later. Also, on that front as well, I just want to remind you that we did have this very fine gentleman on the show last time. Here he is saying hello.
Hello there, this is Ross Noble here, and I'm on this show right now.
And just for pure irony, he is not on this show right now. Sorry, Ross.
Ross, stop lying.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, what's he like, Ross?
Right. Well, anyway, we chat to him. He's got his TV show. We spoke about that a while ago, just before Christmas, actually. But actually, so you can catch that on repeats right now on Dave as well. Okay, then moving on, we've got... right, Sam, later on, I'm going to do a little cooking announcement.
Yep.
Now, I might have warned you about this, and you probably spotted something already in here for you to try.
Yes, I have. There's a jar. It's suspicious looking. I'm not convinced, as you know, by your ability to create sauces or dips. Well,
that's it. And I was counting on you being a bit apprehensive about this. So we'll come to this a bit later. Okay.
Yep.
I found actually the perfect quote that's going to accompany my cooking today.
Really? Okay.
My demonstration of cooking. Anyway, I tell you this, right? I've been delving into a lot of Stein cookbooks lately, right?
I'm sure you have.
So no, I really have, and I honestly, I don't like to blow my own trumpet. Well, actually, I kind of do. So here it is.
That's the lying bell.
Yeah, the lying bell. No, that's silent, mate. No noise from the. I can't hear it. Can you? Listen. No lies in sight. Right, so, I delved in. So I thought, well, I'm really, really liking this, actually. I'm a massive fan. So I thought, let's give this interview with Jack Stein another spin.
Good idea.
Jack Stein, just a gentleman, just very handsome man as well. Anyway, I'm not going to start on that again.
Yep.
Start getting gel all over again. Right, finally then, to round off the show, going to hit a more serious note towards the end. Sandra Peaston from CFAS, which is a company actually which works to protect people against fraud. It's a not-for-profit organisation, and actually they've got a message to put out there today about avoiding scams online, which can actually lead you to, or have been leading people here in the UK to accidentally take up jobs that actually, in effect, are just money laundering positions.
Really?
Yeah, so we've got a note from Sandra about that, so do stay tuned for that if that sounds like interesting to you. And then, of course, peppered in there, just quite liberally, actually. Yeah. Quite liberally. I'm going to, spoil you with some tunes as well. Right, okay, shall we get started then, Sam? Should we kick off with this UB40 interview?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah, okay, let's have these chaps on. Ali and Astro from UB40. Very warm welcome to you both, chaps.
Yeah, we can hear you, Ben. How you doing?
Oh, yeah, very well, thank you. An absolute pleasure to be talking to you this morning. Thank you very much for chatting to me. I just wonder, guys, if first of all, if you could just say your names for our listeners, just so they know who they're listening to, if that's all right.
Hi, I'm Astro. And I'm Ali from UB40.
Sweet. Very warm welcome to you guys. Thank you. Now, this is great. Exciting news in the world of UB40, right? Because you've been involved with an absolutely fantastic campaign. You're spearheading this brilliant recovery effort after this recent hurricane, encouraging people actually to come back to the Caribbean. And I've just watched the video, and it's fantastic. You can tell that it's actually come about from just a genuine love of the area that you're in.
Well, we do love the Caribbean, We went to the Caribbean as soon as we could afford to,
Yes.
back in 1981, I think, was when we first got there.
Yeah.
And we've been going back ever since, And as far as the Hurricane Irma goes, we were on the East Coast touring when it was all happening.
Yes.
And if you believed the news, you'd believe that that it was apocalypse and the whole place was destroyed,
Yes.
which, of course, isn't the case. 70% of the Caribbean wasn't touched by Irma. And the places that were are busy recovering now. But what they need to recover is tourists, to help the recovery process.
Yes.
So we made the Comeback Darling film to encourage people to come back, darlings to come back to the Caribbean and enjoy themselves.
No, fantastic. A aptly named song as well. Brilliant choice of songs to remake the video for as well. And the video is awesome because it starts as well. It literally starts with you arriving there. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, it's also a tonic to watch that film, isn't it? Given
Especially in this cold weather.
the
Yes,
weather is,
exactly.
it's like a little 4-minute piece of happiness, and I mean that's what the Caribbean looks like, and that's what we're saying, It's
And that's
a
what
beautiful
people are
place.
missing.
It's open for business,
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't close down, but it does need tourists,
Well, that's it. It sounds like it's always wise, I think, just to take all the kind of headlines with just a bit of a pinch of salt in terms of these big kind of scare stories and things. Because especially from the looks of your video, it just looks absolutely gorgeous as always. There.
It is gorgeous. And Virgin Holidays have got a big January sale on,
Yeah,
So,
there's no excuse not to give it a try.
Yeah, exactly. Get out there
Exactly.
and enjoy yourself,
The closest I've been, actually, I popped to visited the Bahamas before. This tiny little island called San Salvador, and it was honestly like it was just being like in paradise. It was incredible. We went there to look at coral reefs. Actually, beautiful.
Yeah, well,
Well, I find that's how most of the Caribbean is. That's
Yes.
how I visualise it. That's every time I go there. The water's just as blue and the sky's just as blue as it always has been, and the sand's just as white.
I'm a scuba diver, and I've dived in every ocean in the world, and the Caribbean beats every other ocean.
Yep,
and
without a
down
doubt,
for
Perfect visibility.
Exactly.
Yeah, that
Less
really.
suspended particles.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Actually, it's such a beautiful area, and I'm not surprised at all that you choose to dive in the area. It's absolutely beautiful. And you can see so much wildlife as well, like around these reefs. It was a mind-blowing
you can
experience.
Turtles and stuff,
Yeah.
That's what the Caribbean's all about. Stingrays, and there's a fantastic
dolphins.
stingray park in Antigua. That's the tourists love going to.
Fantastic.
And we've all fed turtles there and everything. So yeah, I mean it's still there and it's still beautiful, and don't believe the hype,
Yeah.
Still paradise.
Yes, and the food as well, guys. The food is just awesome. I can remember
you just can't go wrong with the food out there.
No.
Everything's just so fresh. If you're eating fish, it was swimming around, 20
Yes.
minutes before it was on your plate.
Steamed fish and okra.
You just can't get any fresher than that. And you just eat so healthily. In fact, you'd have to really go out of your way to find some bad food.
Yeah, well, we live on snapper and things like that. You're eating plantain and steamed banana. It's all very good for your structure.
Yes. No, it really, really is beautiful. I can remember, we were big fans of the food, actually. Even on this tiny island of San Salvador, the food was fantastic. And I can remember we went into the local town, we were talking to the locals. It was fantastic, really, really lovely. And, and it was all that on top of the fact that we were in a place which just looked like your imagination of paradise. Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, that's why we made the film, to remind people, just how pretty it is, just what a beautiful place, what lovely people they are out there as well, and
Yes.
just to encourage people to go back to the Caribbean.
And one last question, guys. Where can we send people to check? Because you can see this video on YouTube, can't you? You can Google it, find it, and watch it for yourself.
Yeah, on Virgin Facebook as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, all the social media channels, the regular.
Fantastic. Well, guys, I'm going to have to as well on this show. I'm going to have to play "Come Back, Darling" just to accompany your interview. I think that's the only way forward. I think.
Okay, wicked. Well, it was from Labour of Love 3. We didn't re-record the song, but we made a new film for it.
New film, yeah.
So "Come Back, Darling."
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much indeed for your time this morning, chaps. A real pleasure to have spoken to you. Just before I let you go, is there anything that you'd like to add, actually?
Well, just that we've got a new album coming out. It'll be in time for Mother's Day. We've got a single coming out on Valentine's Day.
As far as going to the Caribbean goes, Virgin Holidays have got a big January sale, so get out there and get yourself a cheaper holiday to the Caribbean, the most beautiful place in the world.
Fantastic. And guys, where can people check out the new album? Because that sounds exciting.
The album will be out that March.
On Universal Records.
Universal.
Fantastic. Excellent. So everyone's going to be excited about this. Lots going on in the world of UB40 then. Fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks very much for your time, guys. I'll let you go. Thank you.
Cheers.
Well, thank you very much indeed to the great Ali Campbell and Astro from UB40. Thank you very much indeed for joining us here on Source FM. Right, coming up next then, it's Yanni with his talking about his brand new TV show, Superstar Customer. Now, this is, as I said before, this is all about his car customization business. Now, he's got a lot of celebs actually that have been involved with his car stuff. So just listen out. You know, there's going to be a few names dropped in here. He's got a great story about Leicester Football Club as well, Leicester City, which actually, James, my brother, if he's listening, he'll be very pleased about that one. Very pleased indeed. Big fan. As I'm sure many of us are. Right, indeed. Let's get this on right away. Enjoy.
Hi, how you doing?
Hello, Yanni. How you doing, man?
I'm very well. Yourself?
Yes, very good indeed. Thank you. Well, fantastic to be speaking today. Thanks for doing this. First of all, Yanni, if it's okay with you, could I just ask you if you could just say your name, just so the listeners can know who they're listening to and get excited about this.
So my name is Yanni Sharilambus, and I own a company called Yanamize, and we customise cars for the rich and famous.
Awesome. Well, a very warm welcome to you indeed, Yanni. So let's chat about this new show. There's exciting stuff, because I must say, back in the day, I used to absolutely love shows like Pimp My Ride, and there's kind of nothing like that out at the moment, and a perfect man like yourself to bring this kind of thing back. So maybe we could just chat first of all just about the premise of your new show.
So I've got a show on Dave, and there's 20 episodes, and what it is, we customise and wrap vehicles for different individuals. So what wrapping is it changes the colour of a car. It's like a vinyl plastic, like wrapping paper, and that will cover all the big panels on a car, and it can change your car from white to pink, green, brown, matte black, all the cars you see, chrome, gold, doesn't matter. But that is pretty much what the show's about, and you see the days, and you see what goes on day to day.
Fantastic. I mean, and you're saying, you get lots of different people in there, and actually you've got quite a large list of very famous stars that actually, you've done their cars for them before. In fact, I've seen quite a hilarious picture actually of Louis and Zayn from One Direction posing next to their mystery machine, which you did up for them. Fantastic.
Yeah, that was a tour bus we done for them, and in that, so Louis and Zayn look like old school games. So we put Atari, we put Sega, we put the Wii. They didn't want the Xbox or the PlayStation; they wanted the old school games. And we had like comics on the roof of the ceiling. We had big Bentley seats. They went all out, and then to top it off, wrap the outside in the Mystery Machine theme.
Well, I expect nothing less from the 1D boys. Really, that's fantastic. I mean, this kind of sounds a bit crazy. You kind of professionally yourself, just saying that, casually, One Direction's van, no big deal. But most people are sure think, oh bloody hell, I can't imagine kind of doing that. What if you make a mistake and things? But you must be so used to this in your line of work now.
I am nowadays. When I first set up, I'm a massive Arsenal fan, and I got to do loads and loads of Arsenal football players very, very early on, and it was really surreal. And then it just snowballed effect. So, for example, I've done William Gallas, who was at Arsenal. He used to play at Chelsea, who then gives me John Terry. John Terry then gives me Didier Drogba. I then do all of JLS's cars. Marvin from JLS has a Christmas party. Then you have all the One Directions turn up. And then Harry comes up to me and he's like, Yanni, you're the car guy. And I'm like, you're Harry Styles. How the hell do you know who I am? He's like, you need to do my car. And then it literally just snowball effect like that. And I think if people trust you, if you've got money and you're famous, but you're recommended by someone else, they trust you. And literally you just get one celebrity after another. And I'm here now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's kind of no other way really, to get into that kind of circle. And it must have been strange for yourself as well, because you already kind of racked up a million followers on YouTube and Instagram. So coming from that background, actually becoming a celebrity yourself through the work that you did as well.
It's crazy. So I was known as famous amongst famous people.
Yes.
So
yes,
if you were a famous person and I was at a restaurant, you'd come and be, Yanni, hi, how you doing? And you can see everyone at the other tables looking, thinking, who is that guy that everyone's saying hello to?
Yeah.
And now, because of my social media, everyone will come up and say, oh, can I have a picture? And it's always been weird for me, because when people say, what do you do? What do I say? Oh, I'm a YouTuber, or I own a business that do celebrities. At least now I can say, I've got a TV show, so I feel like I feel worthy now.
Well, it's a very well-deserved TV show, I must say. I think probably most people probably do that the other way around, don't they? They start a TV show and then manage to successfully make a business and gather a big following. But actually, you started out, got this big following, and I think it's going to be really exciting for people to actually see behind the scenes. See a little bit into that world, because I think for everybody, that's just completely kind of an alien thing. Thinking about this world that you're kind of in.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know what rapping is. So probably the easiest way, if you, for example, are in London and you drive around and you see all the gold cars, all the chrome cars driving around, I'm afraid I'm that guy that's made that happen. So when you're cringing, thinking, who the hell would do that? I done it, I'm afraid.
No,
sorry.
That's fair. Well, they asked for it, so you can't be taking the blame.
Exactly.
And do you kind of have like a trademark look that you find a lot of people are asking for, or is it kind of everybody has their own? I'm sure a lot of the celebs probably want a really unique style. I'm guessing. I don't know what kind of things they ask for.
Everyone likes to so the last 4 years, Matt Black has been the most popular.
Yes.
But here's a great story. So the Leicester Football Club, they won the league.
Yeah,
so their owner bought them 20 BMW i8s. So here's the problem. When they come out after training, everyone's clicking their buttons, being like, which car's mine, because they're all blue. So a lot of the players said to me, Yanni, can you wrap my car in matte black or satin black? So I was like, cool. The problem is, now they're all black. But Jamie Vardy rang me and said, Yanni, do my car in chrome black. He goes, because I want to know which car is mine when I walk out the training ground. First world problems, obviously, but that's the change. But satin black has probably been the most popular colour for the last 4 years. But chrome has really, really grown. People don't care what other people think nowadays, so they're happy to be all out there in your face.
Yes, yeah. That's a great story about Leicester. Actually, my brother was actually in Leicester at the time when it became obvious that they'd won, and he said the city just lit up. It must have been an incredible being there when that was announced.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, and talking about the show again. I think people will probably be particularly interested in hearing about what kind of different celebs and things are wanting. But I mean, what kind of cars are you going to get? Are you going to exclusively have really mega expensive cars? Are you going to kind of slum it if you like with some kind of more usual cars?
So the show is real. So these are actually genuine customers that have actually booked in and had their cars done. So I'll give you an example. We've got an 18-year-old birthday present, an 18th birthday present for a young man who had his car wrapped in chrome blue, an A-class. But then I've got a hypercar McLaren P1 wrapped in chrome rose gold, which is 2.2 million.
Yes.
So we have got across the board. I've got Range Rovers, BMWs, but it's not just the hypercars and supercars. We've got your day-to-day cars. And listen, things go wrong. What I always said when we were doing the show, and I was originally approached, I said, I do not want it scripted. I said, I can't have anything scripted.
Yeah.
They said, but we always like a bit of drama. I said, if you film me long enough, it will happen.
We'll
and I'm afraid to say, in probably 3 or 4 episodes, it did happen. You'll see me lose my rag a little bit, shall we say.
Well, I think you're allowed to, because I just imagine this must be just... I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you're well used to it now. You're a professional, and you've done a lot of this. But I'm sure, when you first started, was it just super stressful? I imagine the first few cars that you got, the first kind of few supercars that you got, and you're thinking, oh gosh, I best make a good job of this sort of thing.
Well, the thing is, I'm very meticulous. So I'm very, very fussy, and I'm never happy. So the job, however much my staff will think it's perfect, I will always find fault.
Yes.
And it takes a long time to get to a really, really high level. And it's all good and well when you're working on a £20,000 car. But when you've got a £2 million car, if something goes wrong with that, I'm in for thousands to rectify it.
Yes.
So the pressure is immense. And then the worst thing is, they'll be like, I want my car done and I want it to be the best standard, but then you've got 3 days to do it because I don't want to lose my car any longer. Yeah. So literally just put obstacles on top of obstacles and make it harder for you.
Stressful stuff. I'm sure that kind of attention to detail and things is what got you noticed in the first place. And when the celebrities kind of come in, back to the celebs again, just in your kind of everyday workings of your business, I imagine these are probably very demanding. Are they, or are they okay?
Listen, you get different types of celebrities. When you have, for example, like Louis and Zayn or Harry, they're young, they're fine, they're like really relaxed. You get an older, mature football player or a musician. I've done cards for like Rupert Grint from Harry Potter.
Oh, fantastic!
And he was really, really cool. But he knew what he wanted.
He wanted us to fly, I imagine. Surely.
Always, of course. But he had like a Morgan, which was like a three-wheeler, as well as Audi R8, and his dad had a Bentley. We've done loads of cards for him. But they're cool. They understand, and because I've been in the industry a long, long time, they will take my word and my advice. Yes. If they come and ask for something absolutely stupid, I would advise them against it. But sometimes they'll be like, I don't care, Yanni, I want it done.
Yeah.
On your head be it then.
Well, that's fantastic. Okay, conscious of time, I will let you go very soon so you can get on. One last thing for you, Yanni, actually, and I would really like to offer you a cheeky song choice for the show. Have you got any songs off the top of your head that you'd like me to play?
Do you know what? I'm probably going to do Stormzy's card pretty soon, so let's do Ed Sheeran and Stormzy.
Oh, nice choice. Excellent choice. Well, thank you very much indeed, Yanni, for chatting to you today. I will let you go. Thank you for talking to us about your new show.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
See you, Yanni. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, thank you again, Yanni. Absolutely awesome chatting to you. Do check out his show. Go on dave.uktv.co.uk if you want to check it out. See when you can catch it. You can get it on a catch-up and on demand as well. Now, Sam, you had an absolutely cracking idea, didn't you? We were thinking, well, you know, now that we've grabbed the listener's attention, should we just start poaching his clients? Because you had a great idea.
Well, yeah, I thought we've had so many celebrities, probably more than he just named there. And so now all we have to do is just drop them an email and be like, do you want us to customise your car?
Yeah, I bet. I tell you what, I can think of two straight off who would want us to customise a car. Sasha and Dave.
Dave, that's two.
That's two already.
And to be honest, we can do anything from putting a bubble machine in.
Yeah.
Well,
you're saying that probably all we'll be able to offer is some bubble machines we got and some dodgy deal. But I'm sure
if we buy them on bulk, everyone will have to have a bubble machine if they come to us. But
and it's all about the hype anyway, isn't it? Like as soon as one celeb gets it, they'll all want the bubble machines.
And if you open the door and then bubbles start coming out, what better way to make an entrance? It's like the new smoke bubbles. That's what I've heard.
There we go. Well, should we ring the bell just to say the point's been made? Fantastic. There's the business idea. Anyway, thank you very much, Yanni, for coming on the show. Absolutely awesome. Now, of course, time to get your request on. And that is just a really cool fact, and he's going to be doing Stormzy's car soon. Oh, yes. Cool. Right, anyway, let's get the request on.
Unless Stormzy contacts us first.
Yeah, well, obviously. You might now that you said about the bubble machine. Yeah. Well, we'll try not to poach any more of his clients. But,
sorry, yeah.
Well, yeah, sorry. Yeehaw! Well, thank you again, Yanni, for joining us. That was absolutely awesome chatting to you. Now, next up, bit of cooking.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, buddy. Right, okay. So I'm going to start. I'm going to play this interview with Jack Stein now. But straight after this, we're going to do a little bit of cooking, all right, mate? I'm going to, show you what I've prepared here. Okay. Okay. And I'm relying on you to, remind me about a certain past event, which I'm sure is already, right.
It's ingrained in my mind.
Exactly. So let's get this on now. So this is an older interview now. So if he's going to be talking about his TV show, which of course has already aired now. Jack Stein Down Under, Born to Cook. Do keep an eye out online though if you want to catch that on catch up or anything like that. But yes, so when he's saying that it's just about to air, of course it has already aired because this is an older interview. But anyway, here is Jack Stein, ladies and gents, fabulous man. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Jack Stein. I'm the chef director for Rick Stein Restaurants.
Fantastic. Welcome, Jack. Welcome. Well, excited about the new show, must say. Checked out the trailer. Looks amazing. Looks like a really fun road trip, actually, to me, in Western Australia.
We had a wonderful old car, classic car to drive around in. It was brilliant, yeah. So, what a wonderful part of the world to film my first TV series. I feel very, very, very fortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been myself, but I've been looking at images on it online and on the tourism board, and wow, it looks absolutely incredible. So maybe you could chat a little bit about it and the kind of inspiration behind it as well, maybe.
Yeah, it came out of the very famous Gourmet Escapes, which is the big chef festival that happens in Margaret River. They came off the back of that actually, and they just wanted to do some filming around the area, just to kind of showcase not just the Margaret River area, which is quite well known for its wine, but also the other parts of that sort of southwest corner of Western Australia. I think they sort of looked at me and thought, well, he lives in the southwest of England, and they're well known for their food and kind of food tourism, and it sort of, the fit was perfect.
I think I might have heard you as well talking before about kind of coming across this amazing lifestyle of some chefs who actually spent winter out in Australia. Mixing surfing with fishing and cooking and things. It just sounds incredible. It's like exactly the kind of scene that you want, I think.
Well, exactly, yeah. That's we obviously, back in the day in Cornwall, when Cornwall wasn't a sort of year-round destination like it is now, we would have chefs that would come for the summer in Cornwall, and then they'd go, to Australia for the summer there, and have this kind of endless summer, which, is the sort of, that's the aim for any surfer or beach lover. I think it's a wonderful way to spend your life.
Absolutely, and I think as well, Jack, one of the main focuses of your series, I believe, and indeed of your restaurants in general, is this real love for local food. Which actually, coming from a science background myself, we love that as well, because of course local food, I can imagine that's actually very good for the environment as well, not only being highly delicious and probably multiple other reasons, but local food is one of your passions, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's being born out of my parents' love of food, and obviously living in Cornwall, and Dad having to find his own suppliers, because if your restaurant in London in the 80s, you had lots of people coming in with food, but in Cornwall we had to connect with the fishermen and the farmers, and because it was just not available, because there wasn't now there's lots of restaurants in Cornwall, but we were pioneers in a way, and we had to make those connections. But actually, once you start connecting with your local food producers, you actually find, in the same way as when you go travelling with food and you go and eat in a local street food market in Thailand, when you connect with people who are actually producing it and are passionate about it, you get this kind of, it's much more enlivening, and kind of, you feel much better. But also, like you say, the environmental impact is so much lower, and it's sort of, and food tourism's great, and I think that's, it's so egalitarian, it spreads money around, it does, it comes to an area like Cornwall or the southwest of England or the southwest of Australia, like in this series, and, you eat at a local restaurant, you stay in a local hotel, you visit the local farmers market, you really, you invest a lot of your money, your tourism money gets reinvested very, very well in the economy, which I think is another added benefit.
Yeah, and I think it seems to be, especially judging from this very recent survey from the Tourism Western Australia Board, they actually, and I think this is something which is becoming apparent in other areas as well, but it seems that people are actually starting to really appreciate local food, and even look for local food in their holidays as well.
Yeah, I think that's we're sort of coming. I think Rick and Keith Floyd and Jamie Oliver, people like that, have been sort of championing this idea of food and travel as being so important, and I think we're kind of that sort of old adage of the sort of the Peter Kay line of going to English people going to the Red Lion or whatever and having a full English as being their kind of food food experience on the holiday is changing. I think people now want to say, I want to go to, somewhere in the Mediterranean and have fresh fish, or I want to go to Southeast Asia and have some, some street food, or I want to go to Japan and have, sushi or whatever it might be. And people are actually using that too. And, this research that's just come out showing that it's very important to people. And I think, Dad would say that that's what's inspired him to make his food television over his career, and it's what's inspiring me and has inspired me to make this series in Western Australia, because it is just like, it's like, go to Western Australia, go to this region, and you'll find these people at the farmers market in Margaret River, that all the producers that I talk to will be there, and you get to go and the great thing about the Australians is they don't mind you turning up, and they'll have a beer with you and say this is our farm and this is our fishery, this is and that's the great thing. So I think it's the best piece of research. I'm a scientist, I did a psychology degree, and some of the research I used to read was a bit boring. I've been reading this research for the last couple of days, and it's fascinating and really enlivening, and I'm really proud to be sort of shouting about it tonight on UK TV Food.
Psychologist turned chef sounds pretty good, actually, because I guess it's all about the sensory experience.
Yeah, it is exactly the sensory side of things that obviously Heston has explored very well, and the Fat Duck and other restaurants have too, and for me also the sort of social side of it, the kind of customer relations and the way that you interact with people and how your staff, how you kind of keep your staff learning and developing, and keep them within your business and keep them interested, and also with your suppliers, that you have a social sort of psychological relationship with your suppliers, because you understand fishermen put their lives on the line to bring food to the table, and the farmers work so hard, and you have to appreciate all this in the kind of the context of humanity, I suppose, or if it's not going a bit too far at this time of the day.
No, that sounds good, because as I was saying before as well, even from a purely scientific view, if we're worried about conservation, local food's great there as well.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just your carbon footprint goes along with meeting people in your local area who are producing food, and I think that's it's a win-win really, because you get to meet the people that produce your food, and you get the experience of where your food comes from, and even chefs have been doing this for many years, but now the home cook and the home consumer, I think it's very important for them to go and visit the same fisheries and farmers and things like that, because it's important to know where your food comes from, and it's like I say, it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely. Now, coming back to the kind of a Western Australia area, which you're going to be showcasing a little bit in your TV show, it seems that this is actually a particularly amazing area as well. Just not just for if you're looking for local food, and as you say, having that really nice feeling of enjoying the local food, meeting the local people, and all this, but actually the area itself was remarkable, isn't it? Because the Margaret River area, that's where it's going to be based, isn't it? It looks remarkable.
Yeah, the Margaret River is sort of the hub of that sort of southwest area, but all the way down to Albany and all the way sort of into Pemberton and these massive forests, and the whole place is just naturally one of the most beautiful places in the world, and it's just the climate's perfect for growing a lot of ingredients that we would recognise in Europe, a lot of European, let's say, figs and cherries and wonderful fruits and obviously wine and things like that. But then you've also got the native ingredients which the traditional owners of the land have brought to the table, things like finger limes and these kind of weird sort of bush bush berries and things like this, and obviously the wonderful seafood like abalones and things like that, which are highly prized and very expensive.
Fantastic. Not only that as well, judging from the pictures that I'm looking at here, the beaches, wow, they just look absolutely incredible as well. There's a lot of wildlife to see as well, isn't there? So it sounds like I'm pretty sure I want to go, basically.
Exactly. Well, yeah, as a surfer, it's one of the places that every surfer worth his salt or her salt has to try and tame at some point, and the surf there is very wild compared to England, that's for sure. But yeah.
Awesome stuff. Well, I tell you what else I've noticed recently, and I'm not sure if this is. I think it kind of goes along hand with this, particularly from the findings from this survey, and the fact that it looks like people are really getting interested in local food now, and particularly in relation to that survey when they're going on holiday. They're visiting Western Australia. A lot of people are saying that local food is actually important. Actually, interestingly, it looks like they're saying it's more important than Wi-Fi and distance to the beach. Which, it's just quite amazing.
Beach and Wi-Fi. I do like a bit of Wi-Fi when I'm away. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's this research is like I say, it's very, very interesting reading, because it is I felt this, and Dad's been feeling this for many years, that through his TV and through other people's food TV, they've been trying to bang the drum for how important it is to enjoy food, because I think when you're on holiday and you enjoy food with the local any local kind of restaurant or supplier or whatever, I think it's a cultural exchange, and even if you don't necessarily speak the same language, I still think you get something out of it which is very beneficial. And I think when you come back and you tell your friends about it, it's sort of like it's better than just back in the day showing a slideshow of a gorge or something.
Exactly. Why not make that little bit of extra effort, and it sounds like you just get so much enjoyment out of it as well. It's definitely worth doing, I think. I was going to mention as well, because I think I'm I'm gonna own up. I'm a bit out of depth when it comes to discussing food because I'm afraid I'm the worst chef on the planet. The only thing I can actually make successfully is blindingly hot chili sauce.
Oh, well, there you go. That's good. Have you got your own bottling plant or something where you a sort of a backyard industry, a garage industry of chili sauce from the East Midlands?
Well, it's in the works, I must say. But one thing.
Ben's hot sauce.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's going to go down that well, really. But one thing I feel like I know a little bit more about is beers. I'm a big fan of beers, and actually the rise of kind of local craft beers it goes hand in hand with this kind of thing. I think there's this more interest in local produce, basically.
Yeah, the beer thing. Yeah, again in Western Australia, there's a huge beer, craft beer resurgence. And I think in England it's been going for quite a long time, and Scotland and the British Isles. So yeah, it's incredible just to see these microbreweries, like the way that they can set up in, there's one near us in Padstow, it's set up in this tiny unit and producing amazing beer, and it's just, it's people just being enthusiastic, and they've maybe come from a different background and they've maybe done a different thing, and they want to change their lives, and they go and learn and learn how to brew, and then suddenly they're coming up with like world-beating beers. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's also the Stein family beers are very nice as well. I must say that's even though the fish and chips are very good I used to go to the Falmouth one. I must say my favourite bit's the beer, actually.
the Chalkies by
that's it.
It won sort of six World Beer Awards in a row, and it was a record, and we were so proud of it. And then we realised the actual category it had won was like best flavoured IPA with an ABV over something. Do you know what I mean? So it was quite, it's quite a niche market, but still, we were very proud of it. Yeah,
no, that still counts. It's a great beer. I urge my listeners to go check that out. Actually, even if they take one thing away, check out the beer and go to Western Australia, obviously.
And the TV series, which is on at 9 p.m. on UK TV. Good food.
Absolutely. Well, it starts tonight, doesn't it? And there's 4 episodes in total. Is that right?
Yeah, and it's back to back, so it's from Tuesday to Friday. Till the 1st of September, 9 p.m.
Fantastic. Can we let our listeners know where we can go check out some more information about that? They got a website and things, a link that they can check out.
The Western Australian Tourism Board is a great place to check out to find out more about the region and the area I was in, and then our website rickstein.com has lots of sort of links to the social channels, some of the behind-the-scenes stuff from the show, and obviously a bit more about kind of me, and if you really are that interested, and a lot more about our restaurants and things like that.
Fantastic. So 9 p.m. starting tonight on the Good Food channel, Born to Cook. That sounds good to me. Well, Jack, thank you very much for your time. Anything else you'd like to add, actually, before we kind of close up a little bit?
No. That's been brilliant, Ben. Thank you very much.
I've just thought of one last thing. Because you're coming on the show, which I'm very appreciative of that, I thought it's only fair that I give you a song choice. Have you got any songs you'd like us to pop on for you?
What after this?
Yeah, to follow up the interview. What do you reckon?
Don Henley, The Boys of Summer, because it's getting towards the end of summer. It's always a nice tune in September when everyone's gone home and the beaches are empty. And I'd like that.
Perfect choice. Well, Jack, thank you very much for your time. Very nice chatting to you. Thank you.
Cheers, Ben. Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you very much indeed to Jack Stein. Of course, that was an old interview now, so of course it isn't September. All the same, though, I think it's only fair that we do still play that song again.
Yeah, fair.
What do you think? Yeah, I think it's fair.
Although it's not quite summer, but...
Not quite, no. But I'm sure... What do you think, guys, listening?
Do you think it's summer in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah, it's summer somewhere, mate. I like your thinking. All right, well, we'll give it a spin anyway. It's a great tune, isn't it? So I think we'll get away with it, mate. Okay, Sam, it is the moment you've been waiting for.
Great news.
Yeah, a little bit of cooking now. So I thought, well, I mean, when I say... Okay, well, I'm going to tell you this, right? So recently, I've been, really trying to up my game with cooking, okay? Because for a long time, as you may or may not be aware, many people didn't regard me as the greatest cook of all time.
No, you weren't really allowed near the oven.
No, exactly. There was... that time we tried to cook some sauce, if you'd like to explain what happened.
So the last time we tried to cook some chili sauce, it was all going fine until Ben decided that the blender wasn't working fast enough and was just ramming a wooden spoon in to push the ingredients down into the blade.
Here's the little clip, actually, so you can explain it as we go. So, well, a very good morning to you in the kitchen, actually. About to cook up some chili sauce. This is a fantastic recipe. I urge you all to try it. Right, give that a blend.
He's now shoving a wooden spoon in a blender. If we lose an arm here,
Yeah, see? Well, okay, so that...
So I think you'll hear what I said was, this isn't safe. Then going, it's perfectly safe. 10 seconds later, ah!
Yeah, well, here's my little message now. Now that I've been delving into cookbooks, I found the perfect quote, okay?
Yep.
You ready for it?
Yep.
My powers have doubled since the last time we met, Count.
What'd you say to that then, mate? In fact, there's only one response, so I got your response as well. You ready? Here's your response.
Yep.
Good. Twice the pride, double the fall.
What do you think? Can you pull that off? Go on, give it a shot.
No, I can't.
Okay, fair enough. Well, okay. Here's what I've done. Okay, so this of course is not a Rick Stein recipe. I'm afraid this is a cheat recipe because I just thought, okay, well, I tell you actually, Sam, check out some of these pictures, right?
Yep.
I think let's look at this. Look at this, mate. Oh. Now, would you say that looks like it's improved somewhat? At least, give me that. At least a bit.
Yeah.
You see?
That doesn't look bad. You know.
Yeah?
It looks quite impressive. Like you look almost like you're some sort of amateur chef going through chef college in those pictures.
Well, thank you. There we go. So that was all from actually just a couple of days of delving into some Stein cookbooks. Yeah. I think that turned out all right. Actually. And I thought, well, I found this ridiculously easy recipe actually, and I've given a little unique spin on it, okay? Because the chili sauce, right? Mm-hmm. I made one recently, actually. Again, this time because it was supposed to be like a Mexican-inspired one. So I had chili and tequila in there.
No.
Oh, it was good. Right. Anyway, what I've done here is I've prepared some barbecue sauce. Okay. So once you've got the hot sauce, it's actually really easy to move on to turn it into barbecue sauce. I've got the little recipe here actually, but I'm going to let you give it a try. See if it's any good. Obviously, if it isn't good, just lie and say it's great.
Okay.
I'll pass that to you. Don't forget the lying bell is here. So.
Go on, you want to open that for me?
Just give it a little try, mate.
I have a smell first, just ever.
Yeah, so it's kind of... It's a little bit
good.
spicy, but it's not too bad.
Bit fruity.
Yeah. Give it a try. All right, I tell you what, you're allowed you're allowed to be honest.
Ben's made me 2 big bits of bread that don't fit in his dipping jar. Also, I imagine this would be nicer with something other than bread, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm
That's
sorry.
Right.
No
I've
cooking here in the studio,
here.
you see. What do you think? Edible? Yeah? He's nodding. What do you think, man?
That's pretty good, Ben.
Yeah?
I'm impressed with that, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Well, shall I tell you how easy it is to make that?
Go on, yeah.
So if you've got the chili sauce, that's the
base.
Yeah, so that's the one that takes a bit of time to make, or you can just obviously use any chili sauce. You only actually want a dash of that.
A dash.
Yeah, and all you're going to do, right, is dash, meaning in this case quite a significant portion, which I think it works out well actually.
Yeah, it's not too hot
I like it a bit more spicy.
It doesn't taste like a chili sauce.
No, excellent. Well, I'm pleased that you're liking that. So very simply then, all you do is get all these ingredients I'm about to list here, chuck them in a pan, and literally just simmer it for 10 minutes. That's all you do, and it's
10
done.
minutes.
Yeah. And I tell you what, I served it warm actually, so straight off the pan with some chips, and it was good. It was really good. Obviously, that's chilled.
This is good.
Yeah. So what you do? Well, actually, all you get yourself is just some. So you just cheat basically. Use a load of other sauces, but mix them with your homemade chili sauce or another chili sauce if you don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. Just get 120 grams ketchup, which is basically I don't know 2/3 of a small bottle, something like that. 2 tablespoons dark brown soft sugar. 2 tablespoons Worcester sauce. 1 tablespoon cider vinegar. I don't know how important it is to have the cider vinegar, but 1 garlic clove minced. And then, nearly done, 1/4 teaspoon mustard powder.
Nice.
And 1/4 teaspoon salt. And that's all you do. And then, of course, the dash of the chili sauce. That's all you do. Mix that in. Mix it all together. 10 minutes, that's all. And you wind it with that. It's not too bad, is it?
Not bad at all.
Impressed them. All right, well, I'm pleased today because, as we do know, Sam is a sauce connoisseur. You were telling me about a sauce that you came into contact. Well, you didn't. You personally didn't.
No, I got given for Christmas.
Oh, you did get this sauce.
I got.
Oh, go on. Tell the listeners about
I got 2 sauce from the South Devon Chili Farm. You might have heard our interview with them.
Yes.
One of them's the cherry bomb. I haven't tried either of them yet, but I've got the cherry bomb and a habanero orange sauce.
They are masters of
chili
sauce.
Great at chili sauce. I also got some chili and coffee chocolate from them as well.
Oh yeah. No, I've got some. Got a lot of that actually.
That's good. I had some last night.
Actually, other Sam in the lab, Sam Barton, fantastic gentleman. I gave him some of the chili chocolate, and he was saying he was a fan. So
yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's real good.
Excellent. Okay then. So, well, let's get towards winding the show up. I know. I'm so sorry about that. But, it has to happen eventually. Moving on. Time is moving on, unfortunately. I'm going to finish up with this announcement about fraud, this recent research from Santander, actually. And here to talk about this, we have Sandra Peason from CFAS, which is a not-for-profit organisation working to prevent fraud here in the UK. So I'm going to give this a spin. Join me afterwards, just for a couple of songs, and then we will say our heartfelt, delicate, emotional farewells. But it's only for a week, next Thursday. Yeah.
It's not like we're going forever.
No. I mean, we might. It depends what you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How many texts we get saying,
if we get
never
texts
come
saying,
back.
please don't come back, we'll still come back.
Yeah, we will. We could do with some haters, really. Sam, we were saying this earlier. We could do with some haters.
We don't have any haters.
We need a hate base.
You need to silence your critics, and we don't have any critics. So I think we just we either don't have any listeners, or everyone loves it.
That can't be true.
Either or.
Okay. Anyway, Sandra Peason, over to you. Thank you very much for joining us today.
My name's Sandra Peason. I'm the Assistant Director of Insight at CIFAS, the UK's Fraud Prevention Service, not-for-profit dedicated to preventing fraud and financial crime.
Fantastic, thank you. Well, a very, very warm welcome to you, Sandra. So let's talk a little bit about this recent consumer research actually that Santander have actually just put out there, all about this fake job advert actually that's apparently fooled a third of Brits. And it's actually all about this, this position was advertised as a financial transaction control analyst, or some fancy term, but actually, effectively, what it was a fake disguised advert for a money launderer, effectively. But a lot of people fell for this. I wonder if you could kind of outline this kind of research for us a little bit. Santander made this fake advert, basically, didn't they?
Yeah, essentially they presented people with an advert for a job, which was a financial transaction control analyst,
yes,
and asked them if it'd be a job they'd be interested in applying for. And 31% looked at the advert and said yes, they would be happy to apply for that job if they were looking for a job. A quarter then said they might consider leaving their current job to go and do that job. But actually the job itself was, it looked quite attractive on paper. Work from home, good salary, benefits, bonus opportunities, shorter working hours, very convenient for people, particularly younger people, if they're studying as well, they could do it around that. But actually what the role was actually asking the people to do was receive money into a bank account, their own bank account, and transfer it on, which is money laundering.
Yes.
It was trying to induce them to become a money mule.
And this actually, disturbingly, actually, I think it came out in this research into that actually the most easily fooled were actually young people. And of course, this goes back to your work over at CFAS. I know very recently, you've been calling for more education for youngsters in particular, because, every youngster, over 99% of young people are online.
Yeah, it's also about sort of are people aware of what they're being asked to do and what it means if they do that.
Yes.
So, money laundering is a criminal offence which carries a prison sentence of up to 14 years in prison. Becoming a money mule is a form of, money laundering. So CIFAS has been working hard to try and create lesson plans to get education in schools on fraud, particularly also focusing on becoming or not becoming a money mule. But also we put out a video to try and illustrate to people some of the effects of becoming a money mule and what they're helping to facilitate. And again, this research by Santander is really valuable to highlight just what the gaps in knowledge that are out there that criminals will seek to exploit. Because unless people understand what they're being asked to do, where that money's come from, potentially kind of fraud or human trafficking, very serious criminal offences could have been the origins of this money they've been asked to move. So unless people actually understand what they're being asked to do and can recognise it, then criminals will continue to exploit people to get them to do some of their dirty work for them, essentially, because these are the people who, these account holders are the people whose names are on this criminal action.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's very worrying because I assume a lot of people, go online and not really have that thought at all in their head. They'll see a job advert, and they'll just straight away think, okay, well, I'll go for this. And you mentioned this video, this educational video that you're putting out there. Can people check that out online?
Yeah, it's on our website. It's on www.scifas.org.uk. Sponsor a child trafficker, which is essentially the message of the video, which is if you undertake this sort of activity, then this is what you're helping to happen.
Yes. And coming back to the advert itself, are there telltale signs that can help people to identify? Straight. I'm sure this video will enlighten people more. But straight off the top of your head, are there certain things that people should look at and think, okay, that's a big no-no? I mean, I'm looking here, and some people responded to the survey by saying actually that they did identify this advert as a fake application because of things like spelling errors and things like that.
Yeah. You can't actually guarantee that a genuine job advert won't have spelling errors in it, but it's always something to look for.
Yes.
You want to be looking for things like whether or not it's asking you to transfer money. If that's the role of the job to transfer money, that should be a bit of a trigger that there might be something wrong with that. But it's always a good idea to check out the company itself, so make sure the company is genuine, make sure the contact details that are on the advert are also genuine. Yes. You also should be slightly suspicious if you're talking about a company which does not have a UK office.
Yes.
What they will often suggest is that they're an overseas company who are wanting to set up in the UK, but they don't have UK banking services yet, so can we use your bank account? And that's the sort of thing that should start triggering question marks in people's minds about whether or not that's genuine.
Absolutely, and it seems like there's kind of almost two levels to the misunderstanding, really, because there is the fact that people can fall for these kind of adverts, but also I think actually people don't seem to really understand how serious an offence it is to actually be involved with money laundering. You mentioned there about the quite significant jail time, and people probably don't assume that it's I think I've got it here actually that people were responding to the survey saying, well, they just thought it would just be a fine at most sort of thing, or a warning.
Yeah, there is clearly a gap in understanding about what money laundering is in concept, and I think as the research showed, most people, over 90% of people, are familiar with the term money laundering, but just over 70% of people also didn't know what a money mule was. Yes. So there is a gap in understanding between what people think of as money laundering, which is probably the kind of the big complicated situations, which is the sort of thing that turns up in the Panama Papers, for example, compared to what feels like quite a simple thing, which is just money is deposited into an account and it's moved on somewhere else. And it's that network of mule accounts that cleans money for criminals. And I think there isn't quite the connection between what people probably know as a serious crime in money laundering and what feels like a fairly minor thing. Yes. The fact that they are actually, it's the same criminal offence.
Yes, well that's it. I mean, people probably watch TV shows like Breaking Bad, and they assume that the money laundering that goes on in all these fictional scenarios, of course, probably is extremely obvious in the shows. But of course, in real life, as you're saying, this is the kind of thing which actually contributes to this.
Absolutely, and everything that we can do to make people understand and realise what money laundering is, what being a money mule is, and how to avoid becoming involved in that will help to reduce the opportunities for criminals to launder money through the UK financial systems, stop people using bank accounts to clean money for criminals.
Yes. So Sandra, we mentioned the CIFAS video that people can check out online. Is there anywhere else online that you would urge listeners to go to? Any more information over at CIFAS, for example, or Santander, anything like that?
Yeah, I think all the banks, I think, would have sections on their websites for looking out for things like scams and what people should be aware of.
Yes.
So absolutely, that's a location to go to, the CIFAS website, www.cifas.org.uk. Other organisations who you should probably look to report instances of this sort of approach if you see them would be to Action Fraud. So that's the national fraud reporting line for the policing of fraud generally. So yes, contact Action Fraud if you've seen any of these adverts.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much indeed for your time, Sandra. Just before you go, actually, on a much lighter note now, turning away just for a second, would you like, now, because I very much like to give our guests a song choice, would you like to have a song choice for the show today? Off the top of your head. I know it's tough, I sprung it on you, but...
Yeah, that's throwing me completely. You see, you asked me about fraud and I'm fine. You asked me to pick a song and I've got nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'll leave it to your choice.
Okay, excellent. I'll choose something good, don't worry about it.
Now that was a bit of a mistake, wasn't it, leaving it to my choice? Thank you very much anyway, Sandra, for coming on the show. Really appreciate that message. Do check that out if you think that's interesting. Head over to CFAS, basically their website. But yes, I mean, more to the point, she's allowing me to choose a song. It could be dangerous.
Your face when she just said, "I'll allow you to pick that," was not the face of a man I'd trust.
I don't know what you mean, mate. Oh, it's a lie. Yeah, you definitely trust it. Right, okay, well, yes, it's come to the time. The worst time of the week, because it's time for us to say goodbye. Although it's okay, because it's Friday tomorrow, then it's the weekend, so, not too bad, is it? Bit of a bittersweet farewell,
Yeah. Also, I'm getting a cat tomorrow, so...
Oh, yes, you were telling me about this earlier.
Yeah, getting a cat.
Has a cat got a name already?
Yeah, it's Happy Cat.
Happy Cat. Fantastic.
Happy Cat.
The question is, do you have a photo of the cat?
I do. I'll
You're going to have to find it and show me.
Yeah,
Excellent. Well, I thought, a few minutes left now. We're going to say our goodbyes now, because what I'm going to do is, just because I'm super kind like this. Oh, there he is. Oh, now.
Does not look a happy cat in that picture.
No, he's
just been to the vets, that's why.
Oh,
she
okay.
has.
She's quite cross then.
Yeah,
in that one.
She's not a happy cat.
Oh, well, that's fantastic news anyway. You're picking up. She's going to be living in Plymouth.
Yeah.
Yes. Excellent. Wow, excellent. That's great news, mate. That's also the great thing is, I like how you time it as well, because it's like, we're saying goodbye, so it's sad, but then it's like, good news though.
Yeah, good news.
Excellent. Right, okay, I'm going to finish up, Sam, something else for you as well, actually. So we're going to say goodbye, right, and then I'm going to play you my new tune.
Oh, yes.
It is ridiculous. I probably shouldn't be playing it, but I'm going to. So, that's goodbye from us. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you can join us again next week, next Thursday, 7:30 till 9 o'clock. Of course, there's many more shows you can listen to today here on The Source, as indeed there is every day. So, don't go anywhere. Stay with us, man. Yo! Thank you very much indeed to all of our special guests as well. Thanks to UB40. Fabulous having you guys on. Always been a massive fan of UB40. Thanks to Ali and Astro for coming on. Thanks to Yanni talking about his new show, Superstar Customer. Again, you can check that out on Dave, get that on demand, see when it's on as well. Thank you to Jack Stein again. Of course, that older interview. I interviewed him a few months ago now, but we had him on again today talking about his stuff, his show as well. Also, just his general cooking and things like that. So that's fantastic. And thank you as well to Sandra, who we just had on now, Sandra Pearson from CFAS, with that message about fraud. Thank you to you as well, Sam, for joining us again, and I do hope you you didn't die from the barbecue sauce. I was just waiting to see if you suddenly had to mysteriously
it's not toxic,
pop away or something.
It's delicious. He's given me the little jar to take home.
There we go. Well, I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so I'm going to play this song for you now, and goodbye from us. Do join us again next time. Goodbye, people.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, sir. Goodbye, sir.